Now, this next story hits a little too close to home for me. Literally, not even figuratively. It literally hits very, very close to my home. You see, I live in New Hampshire, and there are a lot of reasons that I like living in New Hampshire. First, I like that it's a small state. I grew up in Vermont. It's a very familiar environment to me. Secondly, we don't have state income tax or state sales tax, even though the Democrats in the state house are trying to force that on us. And Chris Sununu, who's our governor, is like beating them off with a stick and vetoing it every single time it comes up, which is the only reason, side note, that I will vote for Chris Sununu in the fall, because frankly, he's a rhino otherwise, and I have not been impressed with his actions during this pandemic. He's not acted like a Republican, and I really wish he would change that. But right now, I have to, appreciate that I do not have to pay a state income tax. Third, I just like it, man. I live out in the woods. It's generally a pretty safe environment. I'm in good proximity to absolutely everything, to the beaches, to the mountains, to Boston. I'm reasonably close to the airport, so I travel a lot, and that makes a difference to me, even though our airport has basically lost all our airlines at this point, even though Jeanne Shaheen, who's our senator, goes and puts commercials on TV saying, I have expanded airports in New Hampshire. Jeanne, no you haven't. The airport in Manchester is half closed. Anyway, I digress. Those are different videos for different days. But generally, New Hampshire is not a place where you really have to worry about your safety. People are pretty chill. They're pretty laid back. It's one of the reasons I like it. So I was a little perturbed to see this next article, to be honest. A lot of people sent it to me, and I just hadn't gotten to making a video about it yet. Trump supporters in New Hampshire receive a letter threatening an arson attack on their home if president refuses to concede the election. I'm sorry, what? Is this really what the Democratic Party has stooped to at this point? Anonymous threats against people who support your political opponents? Now, am I really surprised? No, I'm not. Like, the Democrats are crazy people. This is why I left the party. Dude, this is why so many of us are walking away from the party, where Donald Trump might not be our favorite guy in the world, but this is nuts. This is actually bat as insane. Why are you sending threatening letters to people who are probably your neighbors because you have a political difference? Is this really the type of country that you want to live in? It makes absolutely no sense. New Hampshire police are investigating a threatening letter sent by an anonymous individual threatening to burn down the house of a Trump supporter if the president loses the election and refuses to concede. A woman who would only give her first name, Kelly, told WMUR-TV that she was shocked to receive the letter, which was apparently sent to other residents who displayed pro-Trump signs and flags on their properties. And you can see this is Kelly's home here, obviously a Trump supporter. You know, I saw a poll earlier today of like shy Trump supporters, people who absolutely are voting for Trump but won't put a sign in their yard or won't put a bumper sticker on their car. And it was something like 62% of them. 62% of Trump supporters won't do what Kelly here did and display their support for the president. And that's sad to me. It is incredibly sad that we live in this reality where people are so scared to display who they're voting for. I mean, it's just, I understand it. I really do. I understand stuff like this happens. And believe me, I've been chased down the street by Black Lives Matter. I get it. I really do. But it's just like, I don't know how people can rationalize this and support this as a normal thing. I really don't. So they've got an image of the letter here, but frankly, it's not a very good one. So we're going to look at this screenshot right here. The letter says, "Dear neighbor, you have been identified by our group as being a Trump supporter. Your address has been added into our database as a target for when we attack should Trump not concede the election." Yeah. We recommend that you check your home insurance policy and make, typo in the letter, typo in the threatening note, make sure that it is current and that it has adequate coverage for fire damage. All right. You've been given a fair warning. Always remember that it was you that started this civil war. Be prepared to face the severe consequences of your preemptive actions against our democracy. Dude, like, the lack of self-awareness on the part of these people is insane. You are literally threatening to burn down someone's home if they vote for someone that you don't like. And you're accusing them of preemptively taking actions against democracy? Or have you lost your nut? Like, what is wrong with you? And the thing of it is, too, is this is supported by the left. This is part of the reason why I walked away from the Democratic Party to begin with. Are they all out there sending these letters? No, of course they're not out there sending these letters. Of course, most people who are voting for Joe Biden would never do something like this, but they don't denounce it either. You know, I had one of my older friends who is no longer a friend. You know, I reached out to her right after. A lot of you probably saw that Brandon Strauch and Mikey Harlow of the Walkaway campaign, they were invited to the White House for the last night of the RNC. They got to go see Trump's speech in person. Mikey was featured in the RNC, and they left the White House, and on their way back to their hotel, which is only a couple blocks away, they were attacked and had homophobic slurs hurled at them by Black Lives Matter's activists. So people on the left were calling my friends the F word. I'm not going to say it because it's a horrible, horrible word, but we're hurling homophobic slurs at them and threatening them. And I said to my older friend, this was like my last ditch attempt to try to get her to see any semblance of sanity. I said, are you going to denounce these attacks by Black Lives Matter against my friends and calling them homophobic slurs? And she essentially said that they deserved it. This is a good person, or was a good person, that cannot see that she no longer stands for anything. She no longer stands for the principles that she thinks she does. If you cannot denounce attacks like this, or attacks like the ones made on Brandon and Mikey, then you're not, dude, I'm sorry, you've lost your good person status so far as I'm concerned. I don't care if you're voting for Biden. I care that you understand that this is a reprehensible action. And Trump supporters, I'm going to say this: do not give in to these people. Do not bow down to these people. Do not apologize to these people. That is exactly what they want. The only way to fight stuff like this is to live your life and do what you want to do, regardless. That is how you get it to stop. And I know that seems counterintuitive, and I know it's scary, and I know that sometimes you're going to have something happen, like what happened to us in Dallas, where you're chased down the streets by Black Lives Matter. Yes, sometimes these things are going to happen, but listen, man, I've worn a MAGA mask all over the country. Most of the time I get compliments. Most of the time I get people showing support. I get dirty looks every now and again. I get kicked out of hotels every now and again. I get chased down the street every now and again. But I'm still here. I'm still alive. It's all okay. You have to stand up and commit to what you believe in. That is the only way to fight stuff like this. And this is the hill I will die on. Standing up for what I believe and saying what I think, regardless of what these people say and what these people do. They want you to bend the knee. They want you to give in to them. I will not give them the satisfaction. I won't do it. I was very taken aback, Kelly said. You're not supposed to threaten my home. I'm very worried in the sense that this is going on in my town. And by the way, guys, Milford, just so you have some context here, I could drive to Milford in probably like 5 to 10 minutes. It's like right over there. It's really not that far away from me at all. According to the Milford police, the same letter was sent to other homes in nearby Brookline. I was quite shocked that anyone would send a letter out with that type of threat, said Brookline Police Chief Bill Quigley. I bet you were, Bill. I bet you were. Quigley said that whoever sent the letter could face not only local felony charges, but federal ones as well, given that the threats were made through the United States Postal Service. Just 2 weeks away from Election Day, President Trump trails his challenger, the former Vice President Joe Biden, according to the latest public opinion polls. Trump has repeatedly declined to say if he will accept the results of the election because of what he alleges is rampant voter fraud. That's actually patently untrue, Daily Mail. He said last week in his town hall where Savannah Guthrie was acting like a crazy person, Trump flat out said he commits to a peaceful transition. Of course Trump commits to a peaceful transition if he loses. That's like, it's so stupid that we're even having this conversation and they keep bringing it up. Voter fraud is a very real thing. We see stories every single day about mail-in ballots that have gotten thrown away or tossed away or like what have you. This is actually a very real problem in an election that could conceivably be really, really tight. So that's that story. Listen, if I were to give advice to these homeowners, that advice would be, don't let this deter you. Honestly, don't let this deter you. I firmly believe, and listen, man, I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong. So, you have to use your best judgment. But I think that these people are cowards. They're sending anonymous letters because they're cowards. Do I actually think they're going to come and start burning down people's houses? No. But Listen, so the other day I was on Instagram, one of my knitting friends discovered this website where people can literally, and I'm not going to give out the name of the website because I don't think it should be, I think it should be taken down. This is one of the few instances where I actually do believe in cancel culture. They created this website basically where you can go in and put in your address and see everyone around you who has contributed to Donald Trump. You get their names, you get their addresses. It's basically they're doxing Trump supporters. That to me is an I basically live by the philosophy of do whatever you want to do as long as you're not hurting anyone. That is the rule. Do what you want to do as long as you're not hurting anyone. The minute you start messing with other people's stuff and other people's lives is the minute, and I'm not saying in a way where like you say something that someone else doesn't like. I mean actually physically threatening them, which I believe is what this website does. The minute you start messing with that is the minute I start to have a problem with it. I do not believe that this website should be hosted. The host should pull it. It is absolutely absurd that people have to deal with this based on who they are voting for politically. Again, folks, I get that this is a heated election. I get it. We've got a couple more weeks of this, and then we're going to have to move past it one way or the other. I am worried about what the left is going to do. I really think that, I mean, like everyone, if you live in a city, get the heck out of the cities, man. Make plans for election night that are not in the cities. You know, Brandon asked me the other day, he's like, what are you thinking about doing on election night? I'm like, I ain't doing anything that involves going anywhere that is anything remotely populated. I'm going to stay as far away from people as I possibly can because I do believe that the left is going to lose their minds, particularly if Trump wins again. And I think it's going to be a little rough for a while, but that don't let that fear deter you. Don't let that fear change your mind from doing what you know is right. What they're doing is wrong. What the left is doing is wrong. Sending threatening letters to people based on who they're voting for a president is antithetical to the values that we have in this society. Rioting in the streets because you don't like who the president is, well, guess what? You lost the election. And instead of making a case for electing someone different, you're going and burning down people's businesses. That is wrong. It is unacceptable. And every decent human being in this country should be able to say and stand up and commit that this is unacceptable and we do not behave this way in this country. Of course, the left's not going to do that, which is why they're losing so many people like me. All right, folks, that's all I've got for this one. Listen, I've got a little challenge that I'm working on. I'm about 1,000 subscribers away as of the recording of this video. I'm so close. I'm so close to 100K, guys. I'm this close, and I really want to hit that mark by Election Day. You can help me out if you enjoyed this content by hitting that red subscribe button that's down there somewhere, turning on notifications just to... I don't even know what that does anymore. I don't even know if it does anything, but apparently it protects you from being randomly unsubscribed from my account. So, you know, hopefully you can also leave a comment, share it out with your friends, all that good stuff. That's all I got for right now. I'll see you soon.